they come to you though for help, you're not very fond of restriction. You've talked about that, right? You don't necessarily want to eliminate any food groups or tell people that is something you are not ever going to eat because it will have repercussions. Tell us about how you approach restriction.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's why I like the term ultra-processed food addiction, because if someone has ultra-processed food addiction, it does make sense to me that someone would want to reduce their exposure to ultra-processed foods, right? That makes sense to me, right? And I would endorse that if it was clinically appropriate. But I get nervous when people want to cut out all the other kind of food groups. Not to say that it can't work for people. I mean, I know that there's people that do well on keto. I know that that's true, right? And they don't eat.
I'm one. As a type 1 diabetic, that's the only way I can achieve normal HbA1c. I've tried the other way for 40 years. It didn't work.
Yep. So. I believe it. And I support it. And in some cases, you know, you can't argue against it, right? But what I've seen is that a lot of people with ultra-processed food addiction, they really might want to cut out grains and cut out fruit because they're more interested in losing weight, which, you know, you can't fault people for wanting that, right? I'm not, you know, blaming anyone for wanting to lose weight, but the consequence that I've seen, and I'd love to get your input on this because I know you're in the keto community, is that for some people, not for all people, once you cut out grains and fruit for too long or for a long period of time, it almost feels like they can never safely eat them again, right? Like one piece of mango and they're going to binge on mango, or a little bit of rice and they're binging on rice. And now as an eating disorder clinician, those are things that make me concerned, right? Like I would never want to promote a way of eating that would lead someone to binge on kidney beans or barley. You know what I'm saying? Because those aren't ultra processed foods. And so that's the nuance that I try to bring to the ultra processed food addiction conversation. I am all for people moving away from ultra processed foods and eating whole foods. But when you've been eating just like a protein, vegetable, high fat diet, and now you're scared to eat a nut, it's a little concerning for me. I get a little worried. That's all. What are your thoughts?
It all comes down, I think, in my experience. I work with a lot of type 1 diabetics. We support each other because, unfortunately, we're not getting the required support from our clinicians. Not all of us anyway. So we're a global community. I have a Facebook group. We basically support each other on the phone. We just give each other advice about how to reduce insulin. This shouldn't be our job, but we've taken it upon the community to support each other.
Good.
There are a few of us who have adverse reaction when they go on intermittent fasting, for example. I mean, it comes to me, it comes so naturally. I'm not hungry, I don't eat, and I'm perfectly fine for another 24 hours. It doesn't always work with everyone. I've noticed that firsthand. And usually these are the people who have some kind of addictive or unhealthy relationship with food specifically. So even if they don't eat for 18 hours and they feel all great, hey, I fasted today, I did it, and then they go on carb binging themselves on carbs, not steak, carbs. Which obviously for type 1s, they're going to suffer for another 24, 48 hours before their sugars normalize again.
Yes.
Unfortunately for these people, I mean, from what I know is that fasting is just a big no-go area. Do not fast. Just eat normal 3 meals at set times. And you talk about routine set times, and we're going to have a question about that as well. So just eat normal food, stop snacking, stop the processed stuff, and just see how you feel, because your blood sugars are going to react to that. Even that simple change of removing the snacks and removing the cookies and the donuts, you're going to see a difference. Even if you are eating a piece of fruit with your lunch, you're still going to see a difference in your blood sugars. So So yeah, I think, I mean, for most of us though, I would say probably 70% of us in the group, we fast without any adverse reactions. Some of us do extended fast as well. I mean, I do it. I don't crave anything. I think, people say, oh, you're in the minority. I'm not. I would say I'm in probably the 50%, and the other 50% struggle. So this is why I'm very passionate about food addiction issues or addictive behavior towards foods, because I see it all around me.